The Tale of Bistun is an action-adventure game inspired by a Persian tale. Do note that this game has constant narration throughout, and it's more about a relaxing experience to soak up a story than any of the other mechanics. The goal of the game is to figure out who you are. You start off not knowing anything about yourself, and through experiencing this world and visions and a spirit realm, you start to remember who you are and what the heck you're doing here. That's pretty much it. The game is extremely linear, and you're constantly following a bird. If you don't know where to go, you go where the bird is or went, and the game will progress. The Tale of Bistun is definitely leading you by the hand through this story. The formula, or the way to figure out who you are, is to talk to a tree. You talk to a tree, they give you a fruit, a pomegranate, you eat the pomegranate, have a vision, then you probably go to the spirit realm, the tree saves you from the spirit realm, then the tree gives you a task to save some of his tree brethren from enemies that you have to go defeat, which is what you're watching me do right now. You get locked in an arena, you defeat all the enemies there, then you move on to another arena until you reach the end of the level, go back to the tree. The combat in The Tale of Bistun is by far the worst part of the game. It's a little unfortunate, but understandable because the game is solely centered around the story. There are two different weapons you can equip. They don't really have too much of a difference. Each of them has a unique special move as well. Here's one, for example. The combat just doesn't have a good feeling to it. You don't feel that powerful. You still have to smash up the enemies. It's more just about button mashing and getting through them as fast as possible. Okay, moving on to the story. And as I said before, you talk to the tree, he drops a pomegranate, you eat the pomegranate, and get taken off into watching a cutscene, which is great. They're all very good, high-quality cutscenes. Do note that part of the reason the story is so interesting to me is that I've never heard the story before, so all of this was new to me. Here's an example of the cutscene. It kind of goes into your backstory and who you think you are. You learn something about yourself. Then you get taken to the spirit realm. This is it right here. You can't sprint here, which drives me absolutely crazy. Also note, as the rest of the game is, it's very linear. You move along the pathway to where the bird goes. You knock over some rocks or something like that to open up a new area and get to the end of your current time in the spirit realm. So there's a lot of different areas in the game. The story was always the driving force why I wanted to keep playing, all the way to the ending, which worked for me. You have to make a choice at the end, and although I struggled with making the decision, I am ultimately happy with the way it worked out. Now, let me give you a little taste of the narration you'll be hearing 100% through the game.
Lost in his thoughts. At first, Farhad didn't notice the statues lining his path.
Overall, The Tale of Bistun is quite good, and it's probably going to make my Steam Hidden Gems list. It's a very interesting tale with some good graphics, especially where they need to be good. I think the developers made a lot of very smart decisions when they were trying to make this type of game with the assumably small budget they had. I mean, yeah, could I nitpick this game all day and come up with 1,000 little things that could be wrong with it? Sure. But there's no reason to do that, and it's fun. I recommend it to players who are looking for a more relaxed game with a strong story, and that are okay with suffering through some of the smaller combat pieces. You've reached the end of the video, where not that many people make it to, actually. If I were you, I would consider giving this video a thumbs up and going to my Steam curator and following that link in the description. Bye.